Hence, the reason we're starting at this time. Thank you for your patience. We understand that you're very eager to contribute to the conversations that we have here on radio. Apologies once again. Welcome to Mainland Focus on Mainland 98.3 FM. Is a segment of the Morning Express that is all about you. Over the course of the past 45 minutes, we've had conversations with Fᴜᴜᴜ, who has analyzed, told us things, taking our mind back to decisions that have been making on our behalf, policies of government, and even the current handling of certain national issues. And so you pretty much have most of the information that you need to form your own opinion, in addition to the research, personal research that you've been able to do. And we want to hear feedback from you regarding this story, hence Mainland Focus. My name is Sage Babalola. There are multiple ways through which you can reach us. I'll give you that information once it's time to start taking submissions. But as we do here, we try to have Fᴜᴜᴜ talk to us about the stories that he finds to be most significant, and we do have those stories. Actually, two of them. We're focusing on the power sector, and we're focusing on the unfortunate turn of events when it comes to rising food inflation in the country, 34.9%, all of which have been attributed to matters like post-harvest losses, insecurity, amongst many other things. In fact, the food that is available, people are unable to buy. The purchasing power of the average person has been depleted. In what ways can we rectify this? What are your hopes for the year 2025 if at this time we're still recording double-digit food inflation? In fact, the Guardian newspaper did us a service by offering us pictorial representation of certain food items, staple food, for example, and the rise over the years. And there is no indication whatsoever that we would see a reduction in the prices of this commodity, all of which ultimately has led to the increase in food inflation figures that we have, 34.9%, continuous growth over the space of 2 years. And for the power sector, well, we did hear what Senator Adams Oshiomhole said. As a matter of fact, we would listen to that once again in case some of you did not catch it. 5 minutes, we'll listen to what he has to say about the corruption that is rooted within the power sector. We still have incessant greed collapse. We still have discos that are owing money, Gencos that are in debt as well. The TCN is unable to carry out its responsibility, which is quite ironic, because that is the part of the power sector that's being handled by the government. So the private individuals are unable to fulfill their obligations. The government, well, your guess is as good as mine. Let's listen to these soundbites. We'll come back, talk to Fouad, and then I'll open the phone lines. Is Mainland Focus on Mainland 98.3 FM? Please stay with us.
Supported, against the wish of my colleagues, the idea of privatizing electricity. My main argument then was that the beauty of capitalism and of private ownership is that in seeking to make profit, they will render a service. But the danger of public ownership is that whether they render a service or not, they draw on the taxpayer treasury in the name of correcting what is there. I could never have imagined, as it is today, that a private person will collect money for services he did not render. And the Nigerian people are helpless. Even we here as privileged class have had to buy the transformer that I use here in the heart of Abuja. And to install it, I have to persuade, negotiate, and even effect payment to Abuja distribution, whatever, to connect the transformer I have procured personally with my resources. And hereafter, this transformer becomes the property of the disco. And every month, I am asked to pay bill on brand A or whatever.
Under your transformer.
Like you said, sir, every state governors, or most, spend public funds, buy transformers for communities. And then you still have to contribute money. Many of us, very soon, when we go back to the electorate, they are going to tell us that for 1 year, for 2 years, they've had no light. What is the problem? No transformer. And then they ask you a senator to go out and buy the transformer. You look for the money, you buy the transformer. And then they say, NEPA says you have to pay for them to connect the transformer to their grid. If cables are faulty, you buy the cable for them to install it. Even right now, I have requests from several communities asking me to buy their transformer and to get them connected. And yet, sir, the key element in distribution is transformer and cables, among others. So if these ones are now being procured by state government using public funds and individuals using their personal resources, what is the cost that these discos are incurring? Now, worse, the money they claim to have paid, because the logic of privatization was to inject private capital into these services. In truth, they went to borrow from Nigeria depositor funds in various banks, thereby killing some of those banks who have now become the liability of AMCON, which itself is also a contradiction about the logic of free market. And what they have borrowed, Mr. President, since the privatization took place, what they have borrowed through CBN and other sources is 10 times more than the amount they claim to have paid to become owners of those discos. Lastly, sir, as things stand, discos own no more than 60%, quote, own. So it is arguable where the total money you have borrowed from public sources is more than your private capital, whether you can still claim to be privately owned. 40%, as we speak, still belong to the federal government. But sir, there are no governing councils. There is no governing board for these discos. So federal government owns 60% of a business, and it has no say in the board of those companies. So there is no corporate governance. The one of Edo is owned by a pharmacist. The wife is a banker. The pharmacy becomes the chairman. The banker becomes the MD. They mismanage Edo economy, Delta economy, Ondo economy, Ekiti economy, and we are down right now in crisis. Even I, sir, that I don't live in Benin, my bill every month, I can't even afford it. So, Mr. President, I support the motion by my very good friend who lost an earlier motion, thanks to the vigilance of Mr. Senior President and your commitment to protect the poor. But
welcome back, and thank you for your patience. We just really need you to understand and get an idea of what's really going on in the power sector. And it's wonderful that it's somebody who actually has a stake in the environment of power in Nigeria here that is speaking about the rot that is going on in the power sector, from grid collapse to the inability of all of those involved in that particular sector to fund the aspect of the value chain. The discos are in debt, the Gencos are in debt, the TCN, which is handled by the government, is nothing to write home about. There's cases of vandalism as well. Power infrastructure are being stolen, and this is for an administration that has a goal of about 15,000 megawatts by the end of their tenure. We have a grid that has a capacity of about 18,000, and as it stands, we're doing just 3,000 to 5,000, and that's not even stable. How do you achieve a goal of 15,000 megawatts if we're still experiencing this? Even those that are in band A are saying we're not seeing the 20-hour power supply that has been promised to us. Businesses are shutting down, universities are unable to operate at full capacity, amongst other things. Let's talk about the power sector, and let's also talk about our rising food inflation. Farmers are going through a difficult time as it stands. They don't have the resources to properly process. They don't have the resources to transport their resources, or their goods, rather, their products appropriately. So they suffer 40% post-harvest losses. And this is a country where half the farmers are afraid to really go to the farm and plant because of the activities of terrorists. Insecurity has become a cankerworm. So let's talk about these two prominent national issues. But before then, Fouad, talk to us. First of all, in what ways can we rectify the inadequacies within the power sector? And with regards to food inflation, what steps do we need to take, whether monetary or fiscal, to ensure that there's food enough for the people, and we can in fact be going to leverage on our adequate food supply for export revenue?
Well, it's two difficult situations, I must say, because again, we're talking about two very important sectors, in our national lives. Food, very important. Power, also very, very important. And the story is bad. There's no way you try to paraphrase it. No matter how you try to make it mild, as much as you don't want to scare people, I must tell you that these two important sectors are in complete disarray. Look, let's start with food inflation. You know, we've talked about the fact that, look, apart from the fact that we're going to be dealing with natural disaster, flooding issues, again, this inflation is caused by the inability of government to have been able to put one or two things in place, really, to ensure that, number one, our farmers are able to go to farm, do their farming without, terrorists attacking them, bandits disturbing them, killing them, and all of that. That's one big issue that we have not been able to resolve. Yes, we've been seeing the military authorities, security operatives issuing statements, talking about some of their achievements. I think I was watching yesterday in Kaduna State, a particular local government, where it was said that farmers have now returned to farm, a particular market have now been opened, bandits have surrendered their non-kinetic approach to solving insecurity in Kaduna State. But look, can that endure? Can we sustain that momentum? What about Zamfara? What about Niger State? What about Katsina? What about Sokoto State? And also even the North Central, Benue, Plateau, the insecurity, the communal clashes in these areas. How intentional about our resolve to solving those problems? So those are still issues that we've left hanging. We've not really committed to solving those problems and where we are. And then you add that to the issue of logistics. We are talking about post-harvest losses. Hey, we are not able to store properly. We are not even able to move these things around properly because it's too expensive for the farmers to do. So you know all of that together. You understand why people are saying that, look, Nigerians brace up for tougher times in 2025. Whether we like it or not, because if we are suffering this level of food inflation at a period of harvest, when we start to plant, it means that, look, there will be more demand than supply, and naturally things are going to go up again. So it's just for Nigerians to brace up, like I've always said, take care of yourself. And for the power sector, see, there's really nothing to add. And as Oshomole, while focusing, Senator Oshomole, while focusing on the distribution sector, has also given us a hint as to why we may be having problems with the GENCOs who are not able to pay their gas suppliers. Whatever happens with the gas supply end, where they are trying to do. The TISCOs, for example, the transmission end is also problematic. We are trying to push for 15,000 megawatts. The installed capacity is about 18,000. If we push 3,000-4,000 and it is collapsing. So even if we generate 15,000, which end will carry that load? If you have an installed capacity of close to 18,000, right? Yes. And you are doing 4,000 and you put it on there, the thing is collapsing. So even if you put 15,000, where you go put them? No. So it's not just to put out these statements, these headliners, these beautiful things from government to get people excited. It's about us telling ourselves the truth. It's not about being a naysayer here. We are saying the fact the way it is. And if you look at the discourse, we need to even ask ourselves, since they took over these things, what has been their level of investment? Like Father Senator, let's say, if we are still the one buying transformer, buying cables, doing everything, what have they invested? Because the major tool for them to distribute power, is not transformers and cables.
Yes.
Even the prepaid meter that is initially when they started saying, they were giving people free. Coming to even is only free. That one they cannot. The people have to pay their notes through their notes again now for prepaid meters. So we need to ask ourselves, these people that took over these schools, these so-called Nigerians, and we know them. We know some of them. What have they invested? They've taken money from banks. They can't pay back the banks. They can't buy transformers. They can't buy cables. They can't give people prepaid meters. They make people pay for what they are not even using. And that's what we are asking ourselves. Should we be talking about cost-reflecting tariff or service-reflecting tariff? Shouldn't we be talking about services to make sure they even make the service available before they can bill us? But look at where we are. And the question is, who's going to bail the cat? Who's going to save us? See, God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you as always for your analysis. Let's hear from you. What say you about the state of electricity, the state of power in our country? We know what the problems are. In solving this particular problem or these problems, what are the first steps that we need to take as a people? What questions should we be asking? To whom should we be asking these questions? Also, food inflation. We know what it is. Even before it was the festive period, at some point, I believe some 2 months ago, food inflation was around 39%. We saw a brief reduction. We were excited for it, although it's still double digits. But as it stands, we still have 34.9% food inflation. And we know headline inflation is still pushing 40%. Double digit inflation back to back, 2 years. This is becoming a problem, and the papers are highlighting it. In what ways can we rectify these problems? What should we do about the power sector? Is it the need for a change of guard? Is it the need for a change of power policies? Is it the implementation, the proper implementation of pre-existing policies? And for the food inflation, it surprises me that we're still going through this, because only a few months ago we had a presidential directive that it should be the removal of food import duty to encourage people to import food, so we could at least feed ourselves as we are trying to consecutively or simultaneously fix the problems that we have domestically when it comes to our agricultural sector. But then the implementation of this directive has been quite shady, and we're yet to see the outcome of this policy. So we're talking about the power sector, we're talking about the agrarian sector. The problems have been highlighted. You can speak to either of the issues or both of the issues. Sage Babalola is my name. When you call, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, and please get into the conversation. 2 minutes is what has been allotted to each caller. We're still streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. Use the live chat option to communicate with me. Also, WhatsApp text message 0913-6000430. Again, for WhatsApp and text messages 0913-6000430. But if you'd rather call, you can do so via the number 0913-6000410. I'll take our first call for the morning. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead. Your name.
My name is Samuel. I'm calling from K2.
All right.
Concerning the issue of electricity, good. What Mr. Shimole is saying is right, but is it just happening? Have we not been purchasing a transformer in the past 20, 30 years? Have we not been fixing everything by ourselves? What I do is that it's being compared by the fact that they are being affected now. And then their target is those people that are behind, the investors that are behind. It's obvious in his argument and statement that they are targeting those people that are behind those people. I'm not interested. No, it's not as if I'm supporting that a banker is switching to another sector, or a pharmacist is taking up assignment that is not his own area, a core area. But the issue is that is he sincere? Have they just suddenly noticed that there is problem in the power sector? His argument is being propelled by selfish interest. Concerning food inflation, there's nothing anybody can do about that one, because the Nigerian government is not addressing the issue headline in the sense that the issue of insecurity is still there. Logistics, like your analyst mentioned, the issue of logistics is not being addressed, and the cost of transportation is on the high side, and the issue of what executive order on zero importation is not implemented. It's just a lip service to deceive Nigerians. So I don't see something good coming out of this present government. Yeah, they are just deceiving.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you for your call. On to another call. Hello.
Hello, Babalola. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
All right, Peter Monte from Shomolu.
All right.
I don't know whether Adam Shimole is lamenting like Peter Monte, or is lamenting like ordinary Nigerians who are not in the National Assembly. I think that position that he is, that house, is an advantage position for him. I think he landed his speech by saying that it is time to protect the poor. I mean, can you people there today pass a motion abolishing estimated billing system in Nigeria? Every time we talk about this, Adam Shimole should, sponsor a bill that criminalize this estimated billing method, because that is what they are using to kill us. When they loot and steal all the money, the next thing they go to the residents and extort from them. Let me tell Adam Shimole, please represent me there this morning. Adam Shimole, our senator, please tell the National Assembly that Peter Monte called from Shomolu, that where he has his shop in Ghana Street, and then the whole area of Owoduni Street, Shilon Street, Ibiwoyoba Street, Odogbolu Street, Oseni Street, Danko Street, that NEPA just came last week and raised our bill from 26,000 to 259,000 per meter in one compound where there are no printing press. We are not running any cold room. Please, this thing is going to cause a lot of trouble. Can it pass this bill or this motion today and tell them that there are poor in Kano Street, that they need to protect us? Because when they come with their ladder, I don't know what we will do so that we don't take laws into our hand. That's why we are feeling. Can you protect? Tell NEPA as a NIPAN that they should not come and want to collect this money because we don't have it. People can eat. They have withdrawn their children from school. This criminality continues. Why does the government allow this kind of bad Airbnb arrangement, which is so fraudulent, to continue up to today? He's not just talking about it. He should bring a bill, and they should abolish it immediately and tell them, don't go to this area because they have complained. They have cried, and we have to hear their cry and see how we can ameliorate. Let me leave the food and whatever every night.
Thank you so very much. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, morning to you.
Yeah, Madam Siege, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, it's Samuel calling from Ojodugbega.
All right.
Yes, talking about the power sector this morning, I think for Adams Oshiomhole as a senator, to me, it sounds like a broken record for me. You know why I say so? Where were these people when this privatization was going on? And where were the senators when this minister, the current minister of power, brought this issue of a ban B, ban C? Where were they? They kept quiet. None of them say anything concerning it. They allowed the minister to drop all this kind of. To me, I look at this method as a hepatitis. You understand? If somebody is living in an area, is it a crime that somebody is living in an area? You now segment area and say this is ban A, this is ban B. So, and some people that are even in ban A, they are not even willing to even be there. You brought them, you forced them into that ban A, ban B. You understand? Let me tell you, my sister, today people cannot afford to pay electricity bill. People, even the prepaid meter, people cannot afford because the purchasing power is not there. You can imagine electricity bill now. The money is even more than the rent that people pay. Tell me the economy, and we are talking about inflation today. A sachet of water, 3 is 100 naira, 1 is 50 naira, and the government will be telling you that things will get better and things keep going down every day, and we are talking about electricity. I think for me, it's too late for all these people to go. This thing didn't start today, and all of them are aware of all these things. What did they do?
Thank you.
What did they do?
Thank you so very much for calling. We appreciate you. Let's take another phone call. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Good evening. Good morning. I'm sorry.
Asibola calling from Nicola.
Yes. Welcome.
It is somewhat funny, right? Because the way people analyze these things, we just want to tie some. We don't want to just speak to the matter. We can't just always say the privatization. It started from a privatization, but it's not as worse as this 2 years ago. Let us always be very well the circumspect in whatever we are saying. There is no way there will be a shift in subsidy that will not affect any other sector. That is what is affecting the food inflation too. That's the main thing that's affecting the food inflation. Because this is the only thing I can say to meet up any other thing is rice. I know that if I sell my rice cheap, how will I buy other things like clothes, like anything that is also in eyesight? So they also adjust their own thing consequentially to meet up the other things they are going to buy in the market. So it is not only because of the insecurity. We have been having insecurity, Boko Haram and everything for the past almost 10, 15 years. It has not as worse as this. It is getting worse because of the policy that is the 2 points that is dealing with us so badly. That is the subsidy is gone and the protection of naira. That is the 2 points that is affecting the electricity tariff and the food inflation. And that is the only thing that can bring back it. Like 2-3 years ago in our area, a house is paying like 13,000 naira per month. Now they are paying 33,000 naira on bank D unbanked, D, not even A, not even C, not even D. So how do you want to explain that? We have been the one that is buying food, buying anything. Government came to say that they can no longer subsidize electricity tariff. Then they can no longer subsidize education. And we all kept quiet and we lead them to that. That is the repercussion that we are facing now.
Thank you.
What are they subsidizing?
Thank you so very much for your call. Let's go to messages on Facebook. Ralphie War AGK sent a message and says, opposition must be serious about electoral reform. Any immersion without, or I don't know what this is, or if anyone emerges without electoral reform, it's not going to achieve anything. This particular government is in charge and controls everything, and the high level of corruption is nothing to talk about. We have John Bernard Oyi who says, good morning, Sage. On the power sector, we're placed on band A and we hardly have 10 hours power supply. They keep switching on and off at least 10 times a day, and at night we sleep in darkness, but they keep giving us estimated bills that is even higher than the house rent. The authority should look into this systemic stealing. John Bernard Oyi sent that. We have another one here. Olumuyiwa who says, good morning, Mainland FM. My only comment today is that Adams Oshiomhole is in a wrong party. What does this have to do with anything? Let's not talk about him. Let's talk about what he has spoken about. It is still fresh in our memory how he stood against blah blah blah. The summary of activities of Jᴏɪᴜ's and Disco's performance is that they have been hijacked by cabals similar to those in control of NNPCL, and it is only Mr. President that can intervene and help poor people if he's willing. Muyiwa from Abuja, thank you very much, Muyiwa. We have another message here that reads, hold on, Joshua Akimbami, who says, this is Gege Joshua. Your station on Radio Guardian has no sound. Please fix. We're working on it. All right, technical glitch. Thank you very much. But you go further to say, on our power problem, we only have a very passionate leader to help us resolve all the issues. There are people who are cashing out even as these challenges persist. The farmers are simply just worried for their lives. They're not secured. They even face the challenge of moving their products out of the farm because of bad road. We need a passionate leader to end all of these. Majority of our leaders are only focusing on the gold from Niger State. Thank you very much. We have Benjamin Isse still on Facebook with a message that reads, good morning, Sage and Fuad. Inflation will continue to rise until President Tinubu does something about his subsidy is gone policy by reducing the price of fuel to 500 naira. He needs to open the border to allow food from neighboring countries come in. As per corruption, it needs to be fought from the top. Not only the power sector is corrupt. Sage, name one sector in Nigeria that is not corrupt. The National Assembly, are they free from corruption? When I have it, they say ye have it. Any correction greater than that? Benjamin from Shogunai. Thank you very much. We have another Itemitoku Michael who says, hello Mainland FM. To the candid, to be candid, I'm yet to be convinced that the worst of civilian administration is better than... Alright, thank you very much. We appreciate you for your insight. Your opener already indicates that we might have a difficult time sieving through your message, and we don't have the time. Thank you. Patrick Obiazo says, Oshiomhole's sermon is just rhetoric. Is he realizing today that the poor have been shortchanged? He has been part of the system, even as a labor leader. Why is he not talking about electoral reform or the fuel brouhaha and the price punishment by NNPC in the country? He's not aware of the runaway inflation in the country, and he cannot speak about it on the floor of the House. All right, thank you, Patrick Obiazo. We have Darlington Ogbo who says, good morning, the coffee lady. You people don't need to forget this. Good morning, the coffee lady and Oga Fuad. My take on the power sector is just the jagbajantis that we're facing in this country when someone won't have light for days. I just pity those an estimated billing system. We are using prepaid meter when we don't have light. Our units is still being saved for us. For the food inflation, they have tried in every possible way to take us out without succeeding. Now they are making food unaccessible. Let them continue. Darlington from Okukomaiko. Sage, please reduce the coffee intake. Have a nice day. It's not it, I'll tell me what I'll do. I'll go and drink it again. Actually, thank you. I appreciate that. It's back to the phone 0913-6000-410 for phone calls. WhatsApp, text messages 0913-6000-430. We're still streaming live, Facebook, YouTube. At Mainland 98.3 FM, you have 2 minutes for your submission. We're talking the power sector. We're also talking the rising food inflation. Our focus is on the way out. How do we rectify the ills within these two sectors, the power sector and the agrarian sector, and the unfortunate consistent rising of our food inflation figure that currently stands at 34.60%. We're already afraid of, well, people are afraid that the festivity, the festive induced inflation is already something to battle with, and now we're having food inflation at 34.6, headline inflation pushing 40%. How do we rectify these issues? That's the question we're borderline asking you. All right then, let's take your, hold on a second, let's take another phone call. Hello.
Hello, Sheikh Babalola.
All right, thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, my name is Chola.
Welcome.
And I'm calling in from Lagos. Okay. So now, talking about the inefficiency in the power sector. Well, I think for Oshiomhole to have spoken out, it means he has been directly or indirectly affected. And that's a good one, because that is how it should be. Our representatives should be our mouthpiece to mention the problems we are facing. So, but now, the thing is, this has been a problem of corruption that we have all known to be the bane in this country. It has been privatized, quite all right. But what is the mindset of the people that have been employed or that are taking over? The head of the department or the chairman or whatever may have good intentions, but until our minds are purged. See, let me tell you, Nigerians are taking corruption as a way of life. And that is where leadership comes in. Until where there is an enforcement of discipline coming from the top, we can never get it right. It is not a cost. Then, secondly, on food, all these things boil down to insecurity as well. I served in Katsina, GBA precisely. It's a neighboring town with Niger, Maradi. I'm talking about 20 years ago precisely. I used to stray into Niger. You understand? Strolling, then there was insecurity. So what's my point now? My point is that farmers have been invaded and chased out. So until there are coast guards, and this comes down to leadership as well, a country that lacks vision will tend to have such issues. Let the leaders come together and fashion out a way to protect these people. Also, multi-taxations on the road, bottlenecks by police and all these things are part of the problem. We just keep saying the same thing every day. In fact, may God just help us to do the right thing. I don't know. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Hello. Hello. All right, do call back if that was you. 09136000 410. I apologize for the raspiness in my voice. I hope you can really hear me. Let's take another call. Hello. Hello. Okay, I'm really trying to figure out if this is a problem here or it is a problem of connection from your end. Let's try this one. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, turn down the volume on your radio, please.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Mr. Austin calling from Ogun State.
All right.
Yeah, the issue of power. Why the persistence of power failure every time? Now, the federal government that said they have shares in the privatization, it is our workers, our money, because they drop us that 2013 without giving us our money. They say they remove 1 million from each staff to take join the privatization of the power sector. Up to today, 11 years, we are still suffering. They never give us any kobo from the privatization money. They didn't give us kobo. Our money that is remaining, almost 75%, they haven't paid. Every year, they will be doing verification. This is 11 years now. We are still suffering, thinking of when they will pay our money. Well, the time they appointed or they voted labor leader, I raised the issue that our labor leader, they cannot fight for common man because they say NEPA, they say power holding. because the man was our secretary that time. He was the one that stands for the privatization. Up to today, he never made mention of the money they owe the PACN. He has been there as a labor leader. I pray that he will leave there one day. And as he is suffering us, God will still suffer him.
That's... Oh my God. I mean, you did so. You stated your point already. There's no need. There's absolutely no need. And I think sometimes you do these things deliberately. You go on ahead, give your analysis, so we give you time of day. And just as soon as you're about to leave, you say something that you know is absolutely unacceptable on radio. Please, we don't have to waste time going around rules and regulations or all of this. We're communicating here. Let's act like it. We're on radio. Please, let's act like this. Do not insult anybody's character or curse anyone or call them names or malign them. You're allowed to speak on their actions if you find it to be questionable, but you do not malign, curse, or speak ill of individuals. Speak to issues. That's what we promote here at Milan 98.3 FM. And please, if this continues, we might have to stop you from being able to contribute. That's why I was listening very, very closely to you. You do that a lot. You speak reasonably on the issue, and then just as about you're about to leave, you say something that you know will be a problem. Please, we need to stop doing this so we can have a decent conversation, share ideas, and achieve the aim of informing people. That's exactly why we're here, informing you so you can make healthy decision as a citizen of the country. It's still Mainland Focus, Mainland 98.3 FM. We're talking power, we're talking food inflation, and what this means for us moving forward. For a country or for an administration that is promising 15,000 megawatts by the end of their tenure, we still have grids that are collapsing at 5,000 megawatt. What does this mean? We're still dealing with cases of vandalism. We're still dealing with cases of debt within the power value chain, amongst other things. How do we get out of this, and how do we feed ourselves also to the point where we're able to export and make revenue from the agricultural sector? Hello, morning to you. Hello, you are live.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
How's everything?
Fine, thank you very much. Your name, please.
Thank you. I thank you, you and Fᴏᴜ. I really appreciate you people. People are doing a wonderful job in this country.
Thank you.
This what about this power?
Sir, can you tell us your name, please?
Hello?
Your name, where you're calling from.
Abdullah Ghani is my name.
All right.
I'm calling from Beka.
All right.
What I'm saying is this. Aᴏᴏ Sᴏᴜ has said it all. This is the second time, isn't it, we talk about this labor issue. The either 8th assembly or 9th assembly, they were today. They debated on it. They say if they don't, in the word they use, the adjective they use that day, they say if they don't do something about this labor, history will not forgive them. At the end of the day, I don't know how could they come end it before that assembly and that assembly ends. This is the second time Aᴏᴏ Sᴏᴜ has analyzed everything about NEPA, and that is how it is. There's no deduction, no subtraction from it. That is how Nigerians are facing it. You buy transformer, you buy wire on your own. At the end of the day, they say you should come and pay money again for the connection. It's only in this country all these type of things can happen. It doesn't happen in other African countries or in other advanced countries. It's something that you are paying for. You are glad that you purchase something that you are going to use to service it. It's very, very unfortunate. It happens as if we don't have leader in this country. Look at the way Aᴏᴏ Sᴏᴜ. I don't know those people in that. Those people at high places. They are experiencing the same thing, and they are in the position to do something about it. They refuse to do it. All of us will continue to suffer it. As far as they are in the position, they don't want to do something about it to make sure that all the people in the country enjoy what God has given us.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so very much for calling. Hello.
Hello, Sage. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, sir. Good morning.
We thank God for another day. The wise one. My name is Ambrose. Let me start with the food. There are two things I discovered that all the governors can do. Two staple food, rice and cassava. This products are arable in most of the states. Apart from the Lagos state that is doing eco-rice now, which other state is producing rice? In Ogun State, we have land good enough. You go to Edo State, you go to the east, all of these things, but we have shortage of rice. You are aware that rice, short grain now is 95,000, while long grain is about 140,000 naira. And we can produce these things and even export them. But government is not ready to do anything. Coupled with the fact that the dollar to the exchange rate is so high and fuel price is high. On the issue of Oshiomhole, we have been saying this all this while. I have somebody in my area here. He bought card not up to 10,000 since January. He's been using it because there is no light. But I pay an average of 5 to 10,000 naira every month. And when I complain, they say I should go and get prepaid meter. How much is it? Almost 200,000 naira. So now, Oshiomhole is an orator. And if he has spoken bad, we will say it. This one, he spoke well. And we have to commend him for that. And he's talking on behalf of Nigerians. Whether it is because it has affected him or not, it's not the issue. No matter how much they call all of these things, Oshiomhole can afford it. So he's talking based on what he has seen. We are suffering when it comes to light issue. We buy the cables, we buy the transformers, and the prices of all these are going up. So I think they should cancel and ban estimated bills. If you don't give people prepaid meter, that's what Mr. President said before he became president. Nobody should pay bill. And you will discover that all these private companies, they are just making us dry. They will change. Good morning, Sage.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling. Let's take messages now. I'm still reading from Facebook. We have a message here. Darlington Ogbo says, class teacher, I beg no vex. Maybe behave yourself and we wouldn't need to lecture you all the time. Moving on to more important conversations. We have here James Ogbonna, who says, Sage, my dear, I greet you effectively. I did not want to contribute today because I did not know what to say or have any solution. I'm just tired of the whole thing. We use prepaid meters in my house and I think they're helping us save our unit, like someone said. I only feel pity for those on estimated billing because they are the ones bearing the brunt of paying for darkness. My advice is that if you can afford alternative power like solar, please do. For food inflation, let us encourage mechanized farming like one of your regular contributors here always says. Sage, I'll send you more coffee. Where should I send it to for Christmas? James Ogbonna from Oshodi. I know that you are indulging me. You don't have to lead me astray. But thank you very much. Christopher F. Young says, good morning, Sage and Fuad. God bless you guys. About the power sector in Nigeria, corruption in that sector is the reason we are seeing this much problem. We have problems in the power sector and the politicians, most of them are benefiting from that corrupt sector. Imagine, build your house and go and buy transformer, wires, poles, etc. and you go to call disco or whatever to come and connect it. Just take this money, tell Nigerians you own all of these things and register it for me. That's the condition of Nigeria today. Who will stop it? It's not even these present politicians that can do it. We Nigerians are the one that can do it if we come together, unite and speak with one voice. God bless Nigeria. Amen. Christopher, thank you so very much for your submission. Another item, when Michael says, to be candid, I'm yet to be convinced. I'll just skip that first paragraph and go to the important thing that you've said. Let me look for it so I don't ignore your message. You said to critically look into the power sector, especially on the observation raised during plenary by Senator Adams Oshiomhole, that Nigerian consumers should not continue to buy electrical equipment like wires and cables and transformers, and also should not be given money to have discos repair their light, which is a private company. It sounds absurd that Nigerian customers or consumers are the ones that will be compelled to buy prepaid meters on behalf of these companies, which the meter would eventually become the property of discos because it's not movable to another location. Finally, on the food crisis, which has become worrisome to many Nigerians, to me, I feel by now it should be a great concern to the government. I would suggest the government should be on short-term measure. They should open the borders for more food to come into the country and crash the prices of these commodities in the market. It should also ensure to bring down the cost of transportation. The masses should be put into consideration because they are part of the country and they deserve to live and also enjoy the dividend of democracy. God bless Nigeria. Temitope Notoyi from Ijagimo community. Thank you so very much. Let me read from WhatsApp as well. The messages are piling up. WhatsApp reads, Ifedolakpo from Ukpaja says, in a country where the number 3 man said with his mouth, let them be protesting and we shall be eating. The statement says it all. How serious are they about the people that they govern? This government is paying lip service to everything. Their care and concern for the people starts with their mouth and ends in their mouth. What decisive steps are the government taking regarding the looming hunger in 2025? In the interim, let the government open the border and allow people to bring in food unhindered between now and say maybe June 2025, and let the Minister of Agriculture wake up to his responsibility. He's too quiet. You hardly hear him or anything about his ministry, even as important as the ministry is. Let all the state government be mandated to go into agriculture like never before and do mass farming and planting. 1, it will provide employment. 2, it will provide raw materials for other food products and of course plenty of food for everyone. This is not rocket science. It is doable. Let them do it and stop paying lip service because hunger pro max is looming. Thank you very much for your message. And moving on to another one. Awolo Christopher from Shogunle says, on the energy sector or inflation, the whole thing centers on humongous corruption, which is a concomitant effect of bad leadership. The fact remains that as it were, we're helpless because the present leadership cannot help matters. It cannot commit class suicide. Let's not deceive ourselves. Only God can save us. Have a nice day. You have a better one. Thank you. More messages. Good morning, Sage and Fuad. Inflation will continue to rise until President Tinubu does something about the subsidies gone policy. This message I have read before. We have Wale Oguntokun from Jᴏɪṛ Aᴊɪṕᴏ that says, good morning to you, Sage and Fuad. The national grid will continue to collapse because most of the transmission lines erected in the 1950s and 1960s are now obsolete. The federal government should engage in a deliberate and gradual plan to replace all these transmission lines. If this is not done, even increasing the megawatts per day will be an effort in futility, as the obsolete lines will not be able to transmit the increased generation. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Wale Oguntoku, for your message. We have another one here. Good morning, Sage. The high cost of living in the country is as a result of poor management of our country's economy and the high level of corruption. It's quite obvious that all sectors of the economy are poorly managed, ranging from power distribution, silos for farm produce, security provisions for all, etc. Inflation is very high at the moment because many homes cannot afford to buy essential commodities. Until the government is ready to nip insecurity in the bud, it will be a talk show presentation to tame the monster. The salient point is punishment for the offenders and corrupt people to serve as a deterrent to other people. Noah from Igondo there with a message. Let me go back to the phone. Mainland 98.3 FM is the station. The program is Mainland Focus. My name is Sage Babalola, and we're here having a conversation about the failures within the power sector and also the many challenges that unfortunately bedevil the agrarian sector. There is no food available, or the little that we have, people cannot afford. Their disposable income is not enough to take care of their basic need, food inclusive. How do we solve these problems, especially with food inflation staring us in the face at 34.60%? If you'd like to call, do so via the number 0913-6000-410. Send a text 0913-6000-430. Join our live stream, Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't forget, when you call, do well to introduce yourself and spend the 2 minutes that you have analyzing the 2 issues that have been raised. Hello. Hello. This is who?
Robert.
Do you want to call us back? It's very difficult to hear you and there's a lot of noise in the background.
I said my name is Robert.
Okay.
There's no like you see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
So this issue of NEPA, the DPC, what did they call themselves? I think Adamoshomole said a lot in the floor house or house of floor, I don't know. But is it possible for one man to fight injustice in Nigeria? The answer is no. This power grid collapse
I think statistics through those it has collapsed how many times this year? Is it 12 or something like that?
12.
As we speak, nobody has been brought to book last week, which means those that are supposed to tax these people are comfortable with what is happening. You understand? If they are not comfortable with it, when they collapse 1, 2, 3 steps, we are talking of national issues. One person will have been brought to book at least. Question, why is it this continue to happen often and often, but nobody has been questioned. So it's like, I don't want to say it's a collaboration, but it seems so. Like they are happy, stopping the poor masses. I'm sorry for those who are using prepaid meter, who are using the postpaid meter. Yes, I'm sorry for that, because even though there's no light, like our dear friend Peter Moses used to talk, that you don't have light almost all the time. So if there's no light, they will still pay. Except if you are paid. Even with the prepaid, people that they are comparing seriously because they don't use light. Even if you subscribe, they will switch to you. So the problem, the power sector is enormous. I will now slowly go with fighting to that. I know what the journalists will catch up with them.
Thank you.
And some of them will also smell for them. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Please call back if that was you. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, you're live. Prince Wise, your connection is really bad.
Okay.
Please call back if you can, so we can hear you. It's really, really bad. Hello.
Good morning, Sage.
Yes, good morning.
You finally picked my call. You picked him before you drop.
Connection.
So you go add 30 seconds for me.
Please go ahead.
This is gift from K2.
All right.
You see, I have suffered the estimated billing and I'm still suffering it. I did an estimate of the amount I have paid for power supply this year, and it's more than my house rent times 2. And I went through the pain of applying for prepaid meter. I spent as close to 160,000 naira. I've paid for when we were discussing this morning, I really checked my receipt. I have paid for more than a month now. The prepaid meter is not here, and I'm still paying the estimated bill.
How much power do you get? I'm sorry. How much power do you get? How many hours?
I can't even place a premium on it because I can't even place an estimate because I'm hardly at home.
Right.
Sure, you get.
Yeah.
As a young bachelor, I wake up in the morning, I'm off to work, come back, weekend. I can only say I stay at home once in a week. Sure, you get my point.
I get you.
So, but if I should do it, at best maybe 8 hours, 6 hours. Sometimes it's not even a day at all. Mostly when national grid collapses. You get my point.
Yeah.
So when this one Adam Shumola is talking, he wouldn't have been screaming if it did not affect him. But we also appreciate him for talking. These people are milking us. They want to kill Nigerians. I'm telling you. For someone like me that I'm still active and I'm still jumping around and I can still make money, I would say, okay, I can still survive. What about people that are pensioners, people that are low-income earners that live around the same neighborhood? How do they survive? You get my point? It's because Nigerians are not rising up to fight for their rights. Then when you talk about food inflation, the Baba will shut down the border for how long now? They are not producing anything. That is another line of people to go to the farm. Yet you say there will not be food insecurity. There will be food insecurity now. How do people survive? It's all shades of wrong. Me, I'm tired. And we'll say, if they drink coffee, so enjoy your coffee, Daddy.
Have a better day. Thank you so much for calling. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. How are you, Madam Sage?
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah. God bless you. What of my friend Fuad?
As well. Thank you, sir. Introduce yourself, please.
Okay. On the...
Sir, introduce yourself, please, for the sake of new listeners.
Okay, my name is Barrister Peter Oku.
All right.
I'm calling from Mende, Maryland.
All right, welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yes. On the issues we are focusing on this morning, the issue of power and food scarcity.
Food inflation.
Food inflation, exactly. These are very genuine issues. In fact, you cannot overemphasize the importance of
power and food to the populace, especially the common man. And I'm very surprised that, when Asiwaju was inaugurated as president, one of the things he said is that it has been his long life ambition to be president of this country. And we are very happy and very expectant that we have somebody that will tackle most of the pressing problems.
So I'll start to round off your thoughts. You have just 30 seconds left.
Well, 1 year after, the inauguration, nothing has happened. Power, the food, the president should make an emergency broadcast to the country. It's okay for us to focus on it, but there's nothing that the average Nigerian can do. Yeah, he should make an emergency broadcast to the country on these problems.
Thank you so very much for calling. We appreciate you. That's why I always encourage that we get straight to the point so that we have enough time to really speak on these issues. Unfortunately, that is our last call for the morning. I'd like to spend the remaining minutes we have going through as many messages as I possibly can. I'll start from WhatsApp and round off with Facebook. On WhatsApp, we have Noah from Uganda with a message here that says, the high cost of living in the country... Oh, good morning. I'm so sorry. The high cost of living in the country is as a result of poor management of our country's economy and the high level of corruption. It's very obvious that all these sectors of the economy are not well managed, ranging from power distribution, silos for the farm produce, security provision for all. Inflation is very high that many homes cannot afford to buy essential commodities. I think I've read this message before. Noah from Uganda, thank you very much. I have read it before. Another one here says, good morning, Sage. I'm a Pastor Sunday from Magburo. On security matter, let me say this. If they had... We're not talking about Al Capone. Thank you very much for your message, though. We appreciate your enthusiasm. Good morning, Sage Babalola and Fuad. When Nigerians were expressing their grievances for the hunger that had invaded the land, they promised us to remove waivers from food importation. You and I know how it ended. At a point, they promised us 40,000 naira rice for 50 kg bag. Have you bought any? Our power sector has become a mirage. In my area, we haven't seen light for over 6 months. What area is this? Agbado. 6 months. Wow. Imagine in the 21st century when other smaller countries have moved to other advanced technologies, we're here still beginning and begging for 3 days to have light in a week. It's not funny at all. Governor Dapo Abiodun, take advantage of the dry season to fix Ijoko Agbado Road, James from Agbado Junction. This is actually quite concerning, not having light for 6 months. So what do you do? How do you cope? Do you buy PMS? How much PMS can you buy? Wow. We have Ben from My 12 that says, what Adam Oshiomhole is saying, is it not them causing all of this irregularity in the country? Okay, thank you very much for your message. I can't read the concluding part. Good morning, Mainland FM. The issue of band A and B and C is a complete scam. These are the ideas that the government used to increase tariff. Meanwhile, no megawatt was added in the power. As for opposition emerging together, without electoral reform, it's not going to work. Ralph from Satellite Town. All right, thank you very much, Ralph. I appreciate you. Hold on, let me read this one. We have good morning, Sage. I greet you reflectively, whatever that means. Listening to you guys talk about Nigeria's issues sometimes is quite heartbreaking. It just seems as though everything is wired to fail. I think there are people who are benefiting from this country not working, and that is why nothing seems to work. Until we start to break some hands and ruffle some feathers, nothing might work. God bless Nigeria. Uche from Maryland. Thank you very much, Uche, and do appreciate that small hint of optimism that you put in your message. Thank you. We have James Ogwena from Oshodi that says, Dear Sage, I greet you effectively. I did not really want to contribute today because I don't know what to say, neither do I have a solution. I also read this already. The multiplicity of messages. Good morning, Sage Babalola. On the power issue, it is time for the government to give 80% to the private sector so they can perform to the satisfaction of the people. Joseph from Lagos. And last message. Good morning, my name is Taufik Muyiwa. On the electricity issue, it's quite bad. Presently in my area at Abeokparu, Okenla Ifo, Ogun State. As I'm talking to you, we're presently contributing money to buy transformer and now cables, and we're presently what we have contributed is almost 10 million. All right, well, I'm so sorry that you have to take care of yourself by yourself. I'm really sorry, and I hope you're I don't even know the right thing to say to encourage you. But well, this is everything we can take for this morning. We appreciate you for your time. Thank you so very much to everyone who has contributed to these matters that speaks to the issues. We appreciate you. Thank you so very much. But stick around, we still have many more conversations coming your way. We'll take a quick break, all right, but we'll be back soon. The recap would be on your airwaves, of course. Cordelia Okwe would be here with the recap, and you can have conversations alongside industry experts, maybe even analyzing things that are going on within important sectors. Let's wait and see what the recap has for us after the commercial break. Sage Babalola is my name. Mainland 98.3 FM is the station. Don't move a muscle.